We often use certain words to describe people, right? She's what? Intentional, she's kind, or she's determined. Well, there is one word we don't often call on, and it's a word my next guest thinks we should all be more of. And that word is deliberate. Deliberate, especially in our parenting, and especially this summer. Rebecca Fredrick believes deliberate parenting is the answer to many troubles that we face in the home. I am so eager, sister, to learn from you on this topic, because you're right, we don't say that word. And I think it's so what we aspire to in a lot of our parenting efforts and goals.
There's no question about that. Deliberate parenting matters. And it's interesting because we live in a day and age where there's so many distractions.
Yes.
And I feel like it's easy to get caught in the fray of distractions. Opportunities are wonderful, and we are so blessed as women to have more of them than we ever have. But with opportunity comes distraction. And I think there is some discernment that needs to come when we're trying to balance between the two. And it really takes a little bit of talent to be able to do that.
Talent and grit.
Grit and observation, if nothing else. And so it does feel like more and more that society is pushing against some really clear markers that encourage productive, successful, deliberate parenting. It feels like parents, especially mothers, sometimes feel that they should be able to get whatever they want, whenever they want it. Or there's this idea that social connections are more important than family bonds. Or if we put our children in 100 extracurricular activities, it will increase their confidence. Or that we personally need to save the world or create a brand before nurturing our own families. And I think that oftentimes we overwork ourselves and we overcomplicate our lives, and that takes away from deliberate parenting.
You are so right. So it also takes boldness and courage to push back.
There's no question.
Because all of those things that you just described, which such wise observations, they're packaged so well. As in bright, shiny, it looks admirable, it looks desirable, but you're saying kind of use your own discernment to hold your ground and push back on what you know to be true.
Because the mixed messaging is there.
Yes.
So again, there's a lot of gray, and it takes a lot of personal choice.
Yes.
What's right for one might not be right for the other. But I think that there's no question that deliberate parenting helps raise confident children, create security in the home, and I think it also creates a culture. You can form your own family culture that really can make a big difference long term.
Let's talk about how to do that. You say the deliberate mom decides before it happens.
Well, true. Motherhood is a roller coaster. I think there are ups and there's downs and there's twists and there's turns, and life can literally take you for a ride. And I think that you have to decide early on what matters to you and your family. And I lost my mom over 13 years ago, and I was with her sisters the other day, and we had the best conversation, and they were reminding me that my mom decided long before she had children that she was going to have a cheerful, happy home, no matter what happened. And that became her North Star. And as she parented and when she faced adversity, she was positive and she was cheerful. And my siblings and I loved being home. We felt that from her. It exuded from her. It wasn't perfect, but it was a happy place to be. Maybe you decide that education is a big deal for your family. We're going to be a family of book readers. We're buying the bookshelf. We are talking about education. Education matters to our family. We're visiting college campuses when we're traveling this summer, and we're going to different states. That can matter. In fact, I have another friend who recently, we were talking a little bit about how she and her husband had decided early on that community really mattered to them, and that they were going to show up for their community. And so what that looked like for them is they attended the things, all of the parades, and anything that would kind of help support their community. And just a couple of weeks ago, there was a flyer for a service project, and it didn't really work with the kids' schedules. But you know what? They moved the kids' schedules, and they said, we show up for our community. We're going to show up for 1 hour. We have decided beforehand that community matters. And so you live a decided life.
Well, and all of those amazing examples are proof in what you're saying, in that they're all worthy, they're all good, but you have to know ahead of time.
You have to choose
what you're calling, what's your family mark, and then you can say yes.
And you can't say yes to everything.
Right.
So you make some choices.
You say the deliberate mom creates conditions for success.
Absolutely. So what does success look like for your family? For one family, it might say, we want to be swimmers. It's important that our children swim. So guess what we're going to do? We're going to find a public pool, and we're going to sign up for the lessons, and we're going to swim 3 days a week, and we're going to go to the lake on the weekend. You know, for another family, they might say, we really find success in supporting each other. Success to us is kindness in the home. So we're gonna really work hard to make sure there's not a lot of loud fighting. Maybe as a parent, we're gonna say, let's have our kids share bedrooms. We're gonna find activities that the family likes to do together.
But that atmosphere should support whatever.
It supports whatever you do, so then you've got the success.
You say the deliberate mom sprinkles in drops of awesome.
I
see you
love
all
this.
over this.
Well, let me tell you, this is not my original idea. Years ago, a woman in Seattle wrote a blog post, and it went viral, and it was called Drops of Awesome. I loved the principle, and the principle is this. Every kind, positive, happy, productive thing you do for a child or any family member is a drop in this bucket of awesome. So the goal is to fill up that bucket by the time that they leave home so that they know how loved and admired and appreciated they are. And these are simple things. This is tickling the back before bed and taking the walk around the block and giving the high five after they hit the baseball for the first time at the game and showing up for the concert. I mean, these are simple things, but I love that visual that every one of those little drops builds on the next or the last, and that we're gonna fill up that bucket with every positive, powerful experience we can.
Finally, in the fast 30 seconds we have left together, I love this one probably most of all, the game. The deliberate mom knows that time trumps all.
It matters more than anything else, and it's not quality, it's quantity. And some of us have less than others, but I say do everything you can to spend as much time with those kids as you can. And my mother-in-law would even say, if you spend a lot of time with them when they're young, they will spend a lot of time with you when it matters to you most. And I believe it.
Way to take a stand on that, though,
Well,
because the world would
thank you.
tell us, oh, quality over quantity, you're fine.
And I don't think it necessarily is true.
The minutes matter.
Further research indicates it's not. The minutes matter.
Love you and your good,
Thank
deliberate
you.
heart. So thank you
Love
for
you.
inspiring us in this direction.
Thank you,
Cheering
friends.
you on, sister.